Today we're going to fix or repair the belt on this Whisper Drive Chamberlain garage door opener. Found some spots in it where the rubber was starting to come off the belt, and I just don't want to have a problem with it. I already have a replacement belt for it. Just gonna pull it off, replace it, set it aside. Okay, what you're seeing here is the gear for the garage door opener, and that's the belt around it. Zoom in there a little. With no rubber on it. That's the issue right there. We don't want this thing breaking or having a problem where it starts sliding. So that's why we're replacing it. Right there. Never did this job before. I did put it up, but I've never replaced the belt. I don't really remember anything about it. Not sure how easy or what tools we're going to need for this. So at this point, we've just unlatched the safety on the garage door mechanism. Okay, so it's completely off of there and that can move around. Looks to me like we can just take this off here, this nut, and should be able to get the whole belt off right here. This is just sitting in it's in a metal fitting. Got a bad feeling that it's not going to fit through this gear on this end, that we may have to pull that whole piece off, and I'm really hoping we don't have to do that. Use regular pliers. Out there and start loosening this. Not enough room in here to get a socket in here, plus this is a square nut. Keep this spring and these pieces all together. We got a spring, washer, the nut. Gonna take a look now and see if we can get that belt off through the end here where this pulley is, where it's mounted onto the wall. Right now this doesn't look very good. Doesn't look promising to get off there, so this may be an issue. Hopefully it'll come off one way or the other. Nope. Chamberlain, guys. Good job. Yep. It's not coming out this way either. Ridiculous. I'll tell you. Ridiculous. So here's the problem. These guys didn't design this with enough space for the belt to come out. It's just ridiculous. Poor engineering. Got to pull the pulley out in order to get the belt out. Unbelievable. So again, I had to now take the pulley off right there in order to get the belt out. Oh, that's a great design. Great job. Well done. Just ridiculous. You can see here some chunks taken out of the rubber on here. Probably just stress fractures, and I always get worried about putting the garage door down and too much pressure on it. Here's the main area of concern. No rubber. Okay, this was right back at the gear when it was in the park position, down. So real worried about too much pressure on it when it's going down. We're going to start reassembly of it, and we're also going to lubricate the track. So I'm going to put it up through the pulley. I'm going to lubricate the pulley that was up there. What we got here now is the pulley that was up on that end that we took down. Okay, no bearings in there. Just needs to be lubricated. It really wasn't spinning well at all. So we're going to put the grease on that they supplied with it. Give it a good amount. You're never going to take this back off again unless the belt breaks, so you have to replace it. Just going to pre-lube this up before I stick it up top. So now we're going to pull the belt through here. First, make sure the belt is turned the proper way. All right. I'm going to stick the pulley back in. Feed the nut back to the pulley. As you can see, there's no room to work here. There we go. Spins pretty good. Put the washer on and then thread it up. So I've tightened it up now, and you need a 16 millimeter on the top, you need a 14 millimeter on the bottom. Tighten this good. It's got a lock washer on it. It spins fine. I don't feel any kind of friction in it. And just make sure you get the belt on there correctly. Start pulling it back through to mount back on the piece. Before you mount the belt to here or on the other side, I recommend you go along this whole track, re-grease the entire track, top, bottom, and move this along and feel where it moves slow and lots of friction, or where it moves nice and easy. Do that first before you mount the belt. Just use the grease they have or use the grease that you have. The method I'm going to use here to put the grease on, I'm going to squirt a bunch of grease. I got a rubber glove on. I'm going to squirt a bunch of grease into my hand, separate around there, and go up and down the whole track. I'm going to take this, make sure it's sliding real good everywhere. Okay? And do that for the whole thing. Just put just squirt the grease in. Just squirt the grease in here. Get it around on your whole hand. Get it around the whole track. Do that for the entire track everywhere. All right, we're going to clean all the debris off up here. Make sure it's a bunch of little teeth from the rubber. Just get all this stuff off. Make sure it's nice and clean, free from debris. We're going to pull the belt back around and get it set up. I'm going to recheck everything, make sure it's tight. As you can see, this is loose in here a little bit. Going to tighten that up with a wrench. Going to put a little grease in here, and then we're ready to stick the belt on. Got everything tight now. It's kind of hard to see, but it just sits right in there. Now, you can pull the belt snug again, bring it back, bring it all the way around, and work it around the motor, back around here. This ended up being much more difficult than I initially thought to get this belt on. Luckily, I had this pre-loaded nut in with my kit of parts from the garage door opener. This isn't the original one that was on here that I just took off. This one was in this one's pre-loaded. You see that? The other one's not. So it was very different. I couldn't get this through here. There just wasn't enough room. You'd think that they'd have it go through a couple of inches, but there's no way. So, got it on there. I haven't popped it off yet, but we're going to just snug it up a little bit more and then do some up-down test with no load on the garage door. Got it going back and forth. We haven't set the door to go yet. Gonna finish up these adjustments. Gonna make sure the travel's just right before I set the door to go on it. travels real good. No banging. Let's lock the door in and give it a try. Here we go, first time with the door on. As you can see, that's just way too low right now. More adjustments on it so it goes up a little bit higher. It's going down good. Alright, let's check it. Alright, looks good. Adjustment's good up there. Door clearance from the outside looks good.